Hey guys, it's Generalkidd here. How's everyone doing today? So, many of you are probably very familiar with the legendary Halo 2 E3 2003 campaign demo. It was so popular it even got recreated on MCC by the Digsite team and released very recently. But what you might not be as familiar with is the fact that Halo 2 had a second E3 demo in 2004, a multiplayer demo. That demo was not as famous as the campaign demo, but it still had a lot of interesting bits to it. It did leak recently for the OG Xbox, and I decided just for fun and for preservation purposes, I'd recreate the E3 2004 demo for MCC as best as I can. So it's now finally ready for release, and you can download it right now for MCC on the Steam Workshop. And I made sure to include everything in this build that I possibly could, including the secret button combos that will trigger the demo cutscenes used during Bungie's presentation, which is what you see here right now. So, as a quick overview for this build, by pressing the back button and then the switch grenade button on your controller, or the scoreboard button and switch grenade button on your keyboard, it will trigger this little cutscene that Bungie used during their presentation. It's actually pretty interesting because when they showed this off, it wasn't some pre-recorded video or anything. It was actually a real-time cinematic running on the map that they were showing off in the demo. But yeah, I mean, this E3 demo is basically just the map Zanzibar, but with a few differences here and there, and of course with the secret button combos to trigger the cutscene here. So the first cutscene that we see here, it basically just pans around and shows you the map a little bit, and then it shows you a multiplayer Spartan and a multiplayer Elite. Now, the emblem that the Elite had actually does not exist in the Halo 2 module for MCC, and I could not really get it into the build at this time, so I just threw a little random emblem, cough cough, my emblem, onto the Elite, just as a placeholder for now. And anyways, that's the first cutscene. So the second cutscene, actually once the first cutscene's done, you just simply press the back button or the scoreboard button again, and it triggers the second cutscene. This was used at the end of Bungie's presentation, and they wrapped it up by showing this cutscene, which it just basically pans around the map again, but this time instead of showing you a couple bipeds, it actually pans around through. It gives you a whole tour through the whole map, and it just shows you some things that are placed around the map, like the rocket launcher here, which the spawn point for this rocket launcher was changed in the final version, but I did restore all the original spawn points from the E3 demo, and unfortunately, like, as far as playability goes for multiplayer, the E3 demo weapon placements are not exactly well balanced, especially in Slayer, but it is playable though, which I'll show you a little bit of gameplay in a little bit. But yeah, and then the other thing here is the flag. The emblem that shows on the flag is different in this, and it's actually a little buggier too. That still needs to be fixed, hopefully in a future update, because unfortunately the logo for that is different in the final version of Halo 2 compared to the E3 demo. But yeah, I mean, aside from those things, pretty much everything else did work almost perfectly, and almost everything could be restored to basically how it was in the original E3 multiplayer demo as well. So that is basically it for this cutscene. Oh, it also shows off the bridge going down here too, and then it wraps it up at the end here. Now, this cutscene, it can work in multiplayer, but only the host can trigger it. But even then, I don't recommend it because it kind of breaks the mission, which we'll also get to in a little bit. But yeah, so that's how the cutscene ends. And then once you're on this logo again, if you press the backspace, the scoreboard button or the back button on your controller, it will actually reset the map again, which actually really breaks things in online multiplayer. But in the E3 demo and during Bungie's presentation, that didn't really matter. Anyways, like I said, I try to restore as many things as possible. Like the battle rifle here, it is the the one with the no weapon counter on it, and when you scope in, it's a single shot. The weapon and vehicle placements are all the same for the Slayer mode in the E3 demo. And as you can see, because there's like a rocket and sword and everything piled here, it just not very balanced, for Slayer at least. The Gauss Hog that we saw in the E3 demo actually turns out to be a rocket hog, which you do see in the during Bungie's presentation. So that's been restored as well. Now, as I mentioned, gameplay does work. And in Slayer, it's not very balanced because like there's almost no weapons that spawned. In fact, the weapon spawns for Slayer are very tailored just for that, cutscene that you see. But if we switch to Capture the Flag, then most of the weapon spawns are normal, and a lot of them do match the final version of Halo 2, with the exception of a few things here and there. Now, I mentioned that it is possible to run the cutscene during like an actual online multiplayer match, and well, for this part of the video, I'll show you guys what happens. So, as the host, I'm the only one that can activate it, and it works perfectly fine for me. In fact, it's actually a really cool thing to do this, because now with the cutscene going, you can actually have like, people fighting in the background, and it's actually like, it actually adds a lot to the cutscene. But people in the playtest session that I was running in the Halo MCC Discord server at the time, they I don't think they were initially aware that I was running the cutscene, so they kind of just killed the biped that spawned here, the multiplayer Spartan. So that's why the camera is kind of just panning around nothing at the moment. And then they did realize it eventually, and then they started purposely like trying to mess with the cutscene. So the elite's here, and then someone just started shooting at the elite. But it is kind of funny that the cutscene can be messed with in that way. Now, I did mention that it does really like mess up the game a lot, in that as the cutscene progresses, especially if I let it reset at the end, everyone just gets like desynced, and then the game just gets like really, really glitchy. Like you can see like boarding animations are all really weird and wonky, and it's just so broken. But at the same time, it's kind of funny. And then we also get things like where people can't die, and then you can't flip out of vehicles. If you flip over, you just get stuck in a ghost. Oh, and speaking of Ghost, we also had several Ghosts of Halo 2 glitches as well. So there's me with the flag running, but then you also see like a clone of me just sliding around and everything, and that can't be killed either. So yeah, it's just a lot of like desync going on, and it's why I don't recommend you run the cutscene during an actual multiplayer match. You can definitely run it yourself when you're in a solo Slayer match or whatever you want to run it in, but probably should not do it in multiplayer. But yeah, so there you guys have it. That is basically the Halo 2 E3 multiplayer demo recreated for MCC, and like I said, it's available right now on Steam Workshop for you to download. I will post the link in the description down below, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the mod. I mean, it's just basically Zanzibar, but with a few changes here and there, and with the secret cutscene built in. But yeah, I mean, it's I did mostly for preservation purposes, but it can be fun to play on as well. So if you did enjoy this video, and if you do enjoy the mod, make sure to leave a like, leave thoughts in the comments. Anything else you can check out, look into, or if you're like a modder who can like help me kind of fix a few small things here and there, definitely feel free to like reach out. I'm basically trying to fix the like the emblems. Gotta like import new ones, and then gotta fix up the HUD, restore that to the original, and stuff like that. If you feel like if you're familiar with that stuff, feel free to let me know in the comments down below, or reach out to me on Discord or Twitter as well. Those will probably be better actually. But anyways, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye, guys.